Good afternoon everyone and welcome to this Point Beyond executive briefing on Know Your Customer, a no-code solution with Nintex. Before we go into the main presentation, I will just say that this is being recorded and we will make the recording available afterwards. Just to quickly introduce myself, my name's Ian Woodgate. I'm the Managing Director here at Point Beyond. My contact details are on the screen. Do feel free, should you have any questions after today's event, to drop me a line and I'll be happy to help you. Our agenda for today is as follows. We're going to talk quickly about the objective and what we were trying to do when we built our Know Your Customer solution. Then going to take a look at the process around it. I should then explain how we did it technically and how we delivered the solution, the technologies that we used. We'll then go through a demo where we see the solution actually in action, an opportunity to ask any questions that we may have at the end. So what we wanted to do was we wanted to take a complicated process, one that varies both from organisation to organisation and also over time, and show how no-code and low-code tools can be used to build a solution to manage that process. And the process that we've got here is actually quite complicated. Let me just show you the process that we've got for Know Your Customer. So I'm going to bring up a Visio here. And this is the process that we have. So you can see it's quite a long, quite a complicated process. That's not uncommon. A lot of organisations have similar kind of processes in place. Okay. So the context of our slides and the solution that we've built and that I'm going to demo later on is that of customer onboarding within financial services. However, as we go through the webinar, it's important to be mindful that there is a bigger picture here. That the approach that we're using is equally applicable to both other industries and to other kinds of processes that you may have as well. So, given that broader context, let's just talk through the problem for today, which is that of customer onboarding within financial services. We know that this process in particular can be complex and time-consuming. Organisations have a regulatory obligation to do things properly, for example, to prevent money laundering, but they also often need to do things quickly, as there may be an urgent business need to get customers on board and engaged. And without a proper system to manage that process, we can end up with manual processes, mistakes, and high administrative overhead and high business costs. So let's look next at how we did it, how we took a no-code approach, and the tools we used to build out the solution very quickly. So the tools we used are Nintex, which is a Forms and Workflow solution that sits on top of SharePoint, and in our particular scenario we're using SharePoint on-premise, although do note that a similar solution could certainly be delivered using SharePoint Online within Office 365. And we've also made use of a connector, a CRM connector for Nintex, to allow us to update documents, to update records in Dynamics CRM as well, and you should see that in the demo as we go through it. I should emphasize as well, the solution that we built that you'll see later on was all done with no code at all. There's not a single line of custom code in building the solution that we've created. So that complicated process that I showed on the flow diagram in the Visio, that has all been mapped out without having to write any code at all. And taking that no code approach brings and using these technologies brings some great benefits. It fits to a unique process. So every organisation goes about these things in a different way. It's not possible to have an off-the-shelf one-size-fits-all type solution. Our solution's got the flexibility to accommodate different processes that people have. Similarly, we can accommodate changes over time because the solution, the workflow is being built graphically. It's very easy to modify it as your business processes change. Also, the tools we've chosen integrate very nicely with other systems, and we see that with the integration with Dynamics CRM. if we use these tools as well to build our no-code, to build our solutions, we don't need to get expensive, hard-to-find developers to build our solutions. So there's a considerable saving in terms of time and money because we're not needing to hire or to make use of rare developers. And the fact that we can build the solution quickly, we can build it graphically, we can configure it the way we want it to work to match our process, that we don't need to use developers, that in turn reduces the cost of the solution compared to, say, a custom code solution. And finally, once you've built this solution on that platform, you can then look at other processes, other applications that you may need to automate within your organization, and you can start to reuse the platform to automate those solutions as well. So it's kind of buy the tools once but use them many, many times, and indeed most of our customers do exactly that. So the no-code approach that I've talked quite extensively about is something that's gaining widespread acceptance. The analysts have been advocating it for some time. So for example, Forrest has a recent white paper, new development platforms emerge for customer-facing applications that highlights the no-code approach. And I'd be glad to send you a link to that if you drop me an email after this demo, after this session. Okay, I'm going to move on now to the demo. And what I'm going to show is I'm going to show a financial services company that has an onboarding process. We're going to enter the client's name. We're going to have a whole set of rules following that flowchart that I showed earlier within Visio. We're going to generate tasks for different people within our organization according to the type of client that we want to set up. And if we successfully get through all those checks and tasks, we're going to set up the new account in Dynamics CRM. Okay, so let me flick over now to the demo. We can see this in action. So first of all, I'm going to log in to the system here, and I'm logging in as somebody in support, and they're tasked with logging the potential new customer. So that's very simple. You can see we're on a SharePoint site here. I've got a list here of tasks that I need to do. You can see I've already got one for another client. I've got a list of the new customers, and we can see that different customers are at different stages here. Some are in progress, some are completed. But I'm going to go ahead now and create a new one. And this brings up our form. We're going to put in the customer's name here, so let's say it's Amanda Johnson. And we can now choose whether or not we want to create a business relationship. And what happens is, depending on the choices that we make here, we get additional further questions appearing. Okay, so I'm going to choose that this is an individual. And are they present in person and from an EU state? I'm going to say yes, they are. And are they politically exposed? So our process follows a different route for politically exposed people, so I'm going to set that to yes. And obviously these questions could be whatever you needed them to be to match your process. And that's it for now. So I'm now going to save that. And the workflow will now start. You can see the workflow is in progress, and that will start creating tasks. Now, because we said that this was a politically exposed person here, what that happens first of all is we create an approval task for a senior manager. So the senior manager is Patrick Button. Let me show you what he sees now. So this window is Patrick logged in here. You can see here what's happened already is that he sees the same list of new customers and the stages that they're at, but he's got a task here saying that potential client Amanda Johnson approval is needed. So as the senior manager, you can come in here and edit this item. And you can see here I've got approve or reject. I'm going to approve it. I can put in a comment, perhaps see some of the information that was entered previously at the bottom, and now I'm happy with that. I shall OK that. So basically what we're doing is we're working down through the process following the Visio diagram. The next thing that happens is that now the senior manager is approved, it's down to support to do a client review and some background checks. So let's go back to our support browser. We can refresh the view here. We can see now I've got a new task here to describe source of wealth and funds for Amanda Johnson. So this is down to Malcolm Straw, support person, to do client reviews and background checks. So once he's done that, he can come in here and edit the item. Say source of funds could be funds from, let's say, company sale. And we could have an issue accounted, which would actually trigger a different workflow, but I'm going to keep this simple for now and say no, and we'll complete the task. And note that the task that we had here is completely different to the task that our senior manager had. So we can configure the fields and the forms according to the task that's being done and the stage that we're at. Let's complete that, and that's fine. Okay. So the next thing that happens is it now goes to our legal department, and it's their responsibility to create documents. So let me bring up the next browser, which is our legal person. And that's Eddie Gulliver. So you can see Eddie Gulliver here is the legal officer for the organisation. He's been asked to create legal documents for Amanda Johnson. So again, he can go in here, edit the item. We could optionally have the documents being prepared by the system, but for now we've assumed that they're going to be created separately, and optionally we can attach those files and load them up into the process if we want to do. So Eddie can come in here and he can say perhaps contract prepared. Again, all these fields are highly customizable, and then you can complete the task. Okay, and finally, it's down to our back office team to actually go now, and the customer's gone all the way through the process. It's down to our back office team to create the account. So let me just go and show you that as the last scenario. So what I've got now is I should just log in the last window, which this is myself, Ian Woodgate, today acting as a back office person. Just refresh that. And you can see I've got a task here now for creating an account for Amanda Johnson. So I can go in here, I can edit this item. I can put in a phone number, something like that. I can put in the city, something just... Obviously, I've just put a representative sample of the fields here, but you could have whatever fields you would needed. So maybe this is from Julie. Let's have Julie Green as our main contact, and main contact email Julie Green. And you can see here it's related to the content Amanda Johnson. If I want to, I can click through on that and see more information about the underlying customer, and then I'll complete the task. So that's going to finish in the next few seconds. What the workflow is going to do now, in fact, is it's going to go to Dynamics CRM and set up Amanda Johnson as a new account within Dynamics CRM. That takes a few minutes to go through. So while that's happening, I'll just show you a few more features of the solution, and we'll have a wrap-up slide. So you can see here I've got some links here. I've got an audit history. So we write to an audit log. So as I click on that, you can see we can see a summary of the client, potential client, and we can see what's happened as it's gone through. We can see how different people have been preparing different things. So Patrick Button did the senior management review, then it was Malcolm Straw approved, so forth and so on going up. If I want to see more detail, I can actually go and look at the workflow. So let me show you that. I can click on this in progress. And here we can actually see all the tasks that have been assigned, exactly who did them and when. So you get a full audit trail of what's happened. You can see the tasks at the top here. You can see who's completed what tasks and when. So a really nice full audit trail generated by the solution. Okay, let's go back to our slides, and then finally we'll check CRM to see whether or not Amanda's come through. So let me go ahead now and bring up summary slides. So in summary then, we've shown a powerful no-code, know your customer solution for financial services. We've demonstrated how a no-code approach can be effectively used to deliver solutions that are flexible to change, that improve efficiency and management of processes, and that include audit trails and reporting, which can be easily integrated with other systems. What I'm going to do now is go ahead and go back to CRM, and let's see if that record has come through yet. May not yet. It does take a few minutes, so let's just see. Let me just bring that up. Just bear with me while I navigate to CRM. Too many windows with different users is a bit of a challenge. Right, let's do it. Okay, so here's my Dynamics CRM, and I'm using Dynamics CRM Online, but equally well I've used Dynamics on-premise. Let's go through to our accounts. We want to see active accounts. It's not come through quite yet. Oh, yes, it has. I beg your pardon. There we have it. Amanda Johnson has been set up there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in Manchester. So our workflow is completed, and it's pushed the record through to Dynamics as well, all without a single line of code. Okay. So that really concludes the demo for today. A nice short demo of a very powerful solution. I hope you found that interesting. If you do have any questions, I'd be very happy to take them afterwards. Also, just to draw your attention to the fact as well, if you like what you've seen and are interested to try this, we can offer a 30-day free trial of the solution, set it up and get it working for you at no charge. So please do contact me if that's of interest. Thank you for your time. We'll now take any questions.